Warning: what you're about to see may disturb you. Fishermen around the world are reeling in more than just fish, and the evidence is shocking. Prepare to dive into the deepest, darkest corners of the ocean, where unimaginable creatures and mysterious objects lurk. This is not for the faint of heart. From horrifying sea monsters to eerie underwater structures, these discoveries challenge everything we thought we knew about the ocean's depths. Get ready to question reality as we expose the secrets hidden beneath the waves.
Sarcastic Frenchhead. Okay, this sounds more like an insult than a fish, but I swear to God it's a real thing. It almost looks like an eel and has a longer snake-like body and a large mouth. You can catch this thing swimming around 240 feet underwater, that's 73 meters for all our non-American viewers. Although this frightening sea serpent has a devilish appearance, it isn't big enough to swallow you whole. The entire thing clocks in around 25 centimeters, the equivalent to 10 inches. These things are extremely wily and they're able to hide inside small cracks and even abandoned shells. But don't take this defensive maneuver lightly. They will still come at you if given the chance. They are one of the more aggressive fish you can encounter in the deep blue sea. If you get close to their home, you can trust that they will fly out and try to snap at you. Also, they have a pretty strong defense against predators. Around their eyes are these hardened spines that will stab anything unlucky enough to get too close. This isn't a fish you're going to want to put in your home aquarium unless you want to see all the other fish get eaten. At number 9, we have the Japanese spider crab. If you put spider in the title of anything, I'm usually not interested. There hasn't been a situation where I'm looking to hang out with a bunch of spiders, but who knows what the future holds. On top of that, you might not know this, but crustaceans used to be considered insects and we were not supposed to eat them. It wasn't until high-class hotels started serving them up as delicacies in the 60s that changed the culture. And the Japanese spider crab was definitely a culprit of why people thought these things were bugs. They have a set of long, spiny legs and 2 pincers at the end of extended arms. They actually have the longest leg span of any arthropod. Not only that, but they can be around 19 kilograms or 42 pounds. That's a lot of crab. But if these things freak you out, don't worry, they're only found in Japan and hang out around 300 meters underwater. Also, I'm glad we changed our opinion on them because they are tasty. At number 8, we have the frilled shark. This creature literally looks like it was pulled out of the Jurassic period. Every picture of this animal makes it look like it's 1,000 years old and maybe on the verge of death. Some people have nicknamed the frilled shark the living fossil. If just the sight of it makes you never want to go in the water again, you shouldn't be too afraid. These creatures are extremely rare. It's unknown how many are still in the wild, but researchers think it could be less than 1,000. They tend to stick around in warmer waters. They have been seen in waters around Japan and the Indian Ocean. Their body looks like a cross between an eel and a shark, like the two of them did that fusion thing from Dragon Ball Z. And these boys can go deep, which shouldn't be a surprise. The title of this video is Fish Found in the Deep. But they can be found as deep as 4,200 feet or 1,200 meters. So unless you're a technical diver who has multiple gas blends or a rebreather and you're diving in the Indian Ocean, you shouldn't worry about seeing one of these guys. In fact, if you run into one of these guys, you should probably buy a lottery ticket. That's how rare it is. At number 7, we have the blobfish. Even if you don't know this guy by name, you know him by look. There have been countless memes of the blobfish. It kind of looks like a sad man covered in some sort of goo. Like if you took Bill Dotrey from King of the Hill, melted him a little bit, and then put a slime coating over him. This guy hangs out around 1,200 meters or 3,900 feet. He's not particularly dangerous, but has been voted the ugliest animal of all time by the Ugly Animal Society, which is a strange thing. Kind of rude if you ask me. I'm sure if you dressed this guy up and he started hitting the gym and he got a new haircut, he would be a real looker. Also, the animal's so deep you can't even see him without a light source, so I don't think he really cares how he looks. At number 6, we have the Pacific black dragon. We've got another eel-like deep sea creature. There's something about the cross between a fish and a snake that really rubs me the wrong way, and this guy has the look of something pulled right out of your nightmares. The Pacific black dragon can be found in the Pacific Ocean, no surprise, and hangs out at around 3,300 feet or 1,000 meters. This boy does not like sunlight. Sometimes it will venture a little closer to the surface at night, but he definitely likes it dark and cold, mainly for hunting. The Pacific black dragon has a little barbell antenna thing on the end of its chin. It can use this thing as a tool that will light up and basically lure fish closer to it. This way fish come to check it out, they get a false sense of security, and when they get too close, bang! bam! They get eaten by the black dragon, and it continues to hide in the shadows. At number 5, we have the giant squid. When you hear about creatures like this, you wonder if the legends of sea monsters are real. The great kraken big enough to swallow a ship whole. Now the giant squid isn't that big. The largest one on record is around 43 feet, which is too small to take down a massive pirate ship, but since overfishing has become a thing, so maybe thousands of years ago they were able to get that big. But leaving all the myths aside, this creature is still massive. It hangs out at a maximum depth of 3,300 feet or 1,000 meters, and they are massive. They have tentacles with huge suckers on them. Each one of these suckers has enough power to rip your skin right off your body. At number 4, we have the vampire squid. You call something the vampire squid, and you're gonna picture something swimming up next to you, wrapping its tentacles around you while it sucks out your life force slowly, draining every last ounce of blood while you struggle to breathe and live. The vampire squid gets its name from its dark red complexion and deep dark environment. It also has photophores at the end of each one of its tentacles. Photophores are bioluminescent body parts, so it has 8 little light bulbs that it uses to make these eerie light shows. However, with everything we just covered about this guy, he is relatively harmless. He doesn't suck out your blood, he prefers marine snow, little debris floating down from the surface. You can also find him at 1,000 meters below the surface. At 3, we have the oarfish. We're going back to the long snake-like fish because they give me the heebie-jeebies. The oarfish is no joke. Not only is this thing extremely rare, there wasn't even a living one caught on camera until 2001, but they can get huge. A full-grown oarfish can clock in around 600 pounds. That's so much fish. Teach a man to fish, feed him for a day. Give a man 600 pounds of fish, and I hope he has a chest freezer because there's going to be leftovers. Not only can this bad boy get heavy, it can stretch 36 feet. You could fit you and all your friends on this guy. And don't worry about it trying to eat you. It only eats plankton. And it's also a very deep boy, chilling at 900 meters or 3,000 feet. At number 2, we have the goblin shark. Once again, the deep sea is combining things that should never be crossed up. It makes me think of a shark who got the green goblin serum in him and he's flying around on a deep sea glider throwing fish themed pumpkin bobs at crab traps. Can somebody out there draw that for me please? I really need to see that come to life. This shark is a creature of habit. His genetic design hasn't changed in 25 million years and his family tree stretches back 125 million years. When people say OG, they're talking about this shark. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He likes to hang out at around 1,300 meters or 4,300 feet. Goblin sharks get their name from their long goblin nose and jagged teeth. They have the ability to sense small electric fields to pick up on prey, and when they do find something to eat, they can shoot their jaw out like a bear trap. It sounds like something that you would see in a fever dream. And for the number 1 spot, we have the colossal squid. We had the giant squid on, and now it's time to up the ante. This is the real kingpin of the ocean deep. The colossal squid is the deepest of the deep boys on this list. It will swim down to 2,200 meters or 7,200 feet. I think if a human goes down that deep without some sort of submarine, we just implode or freeze to death. This guy is so big, if he's taken out of the water, he will weigh over 1,000 pounds and stretches 16 meters or 50 feet long. And he doesn't even have suckers like other squid. It has hooks. That's right, along this beast's body there's a bunch of long hooks that it uses to rip open its prey. For a long time these things were thought to be just myths until a dead one washed up on a shore. Seeing one of those even dead will stop you going from any deep sea swim.
Starting off our list today, we have the sunken city of Pavlopetri in the southern waters of modern day Greece. The city, which is about 5,000 years old, was lost to the sea sometime between 480 and 650 AD due to a series of massive earthquakes that caused the city to sink down a little over 3 meters into the water. Rising sea levels took over from there, causing the site to become fully submerged by its discovery in 1967. Pavlopetri is the oldest sunken city, so discovering it and being able to map out 80,000 square meters of its ruins is an incredible feat. During the 90s, the area was mapped by hand by divers carrying measuring tapes, but in 2009, more productive methods were employed, allowing for a better glimpse at what life in the forgotten city would have been like like 5,000 years ago. Well-designed roads, houses, gardens, temples, water management systems, and large buildings all suggest an incredibly advanced civilization. Pretty neat stuff. Next up, we have this strange unknown creature which was recently discovered in the depths of the Atlantic. It is called the Antarctic strawberry feather star, although it looks much more like a creature from Men in Black than either a strawberry or a star. There are at least 8 species of the creature that live along the depths of seafloors around the world, generally somewhere between 330 to 3,300 feet deep. They come in a range of colors and swim by using their feather-like appendages to propel themselves forwards, backwards, and side to side through the water. These animals, classified as crinoids, are also prehistoric, dominating our waters over 251 million years ago before they suffered a major wipeout. Today, only few are observed trolling the bottom of the ocean floor. Next up, we've got box jellyfish, native to warm coastal waters around the world, including of course the waters of the western Atlantic Ocean. They are generally quite small, measuring in at just 0.4 to 11.8 inches in diameter. They are also translucent, making them virtually undetectable in water, which is terrifying because they can kill you pretty easily too. In 5 minutes, this animal can sting you, pain you, kill you, and have your friends and family calling the local morgue. That is because its incredibly potent venom has an incredible knack for sending people into cardiac arrest. While less severe stings won't kill you, they will cause you to experience an intense burning pain that can last up to 2 hours. That sounds terrible. Next up, we have lionfish, which look beautiful but have been known to cause slow and incredibly painful deaths. It's invasive and annoying, but also edible. Like I said, it can kill you, but some governments will also pay you to interact with them, and by that I mean they will pay you to kill them in an effort to maintain the existing ecosystems of Florida and the Caribbean. Lionfish are native to the Red Sea, but after 25 years of illegal dumping into the Atlantic Ocean, they have cast their net to cover much more oceanic surface area. They eat fish, crabs, shrimps, and more, and have led to the extinction of many native plants and animals in the areas they have invaded. And they also have no natural predators. Of course, that's where we come in, but from a distance, because even the slightest touch from one of the lionfish's many feather-like appendages will have you wishing your affairs were in order and you never stepped into the water in the first place, and that's because they can kill you, like I said. And even if they don't kill you, for about 8 hours to 30 days, you're probably gonna wish you were dead as you go through the various stages of extreme burning, abnormal heart rates, abdominal pain, sweating, and fainting, which I will say again lasts anywhere from 8 hours to 30 days. Hell no. I also mentioned they can be eaten. They can, if they are prepared by a professional in a very specific way, because if it goes wrong, you could die. Next up, we have the Challenger, as in pieces of the Challenger spacecraft that exploded and mostly disintegrated on January 28th of 1986, just 73 seconds after takeoff, ending the lives of all 7 astronauts aboard the craft. Well, just 2 years ago, in 2022, pieces of the Challenger were found at the bottom of the Atlantic near the Floridian coast, more than 3 decades after it was destroyed, likely due to negligence. I mean, it never even received an engineer's stamp of approval before being launched. While the discovery of the spacecraft is an incredibly historic find, it is also an incredibly tragic one, as it forces us to remember that the whole thing could have been avoided if NASA had taken the proper safety precautions prior to the Challenger's launch, or listened to the engineers and just decided not to launch the thing altogether. Next up, we have the Portuguese man-o-war, and guys, I cannot stress this enough, this thing is not a jellyfish, it's a siphonophore. Oh yeah, also don't touch it, because it can kill you. The Portuguese man-o-war is incredibly toxic, and its stings can be incredibly lethal if not treated almost immediately. When a person gets stung by one of these animals' many 30-foot long tentacles, they right away experience burning sensations and break out into an incredibly painful rash. This is because of the nematocysts contained inside of their tentacles, microscopic capsules fully equipped with barbed tubes that the creature uses to insert its venom into its prey, or if you're unlucky enough, you. While death is pretty much a guarantee for fish and crustaceans, humans have a much better chance of survival. However, many deaths have still occurred as a result of being stung by the animal after the toxins led to either an allergic reaction or a cardiovascular incident, aka severe damage to the heart. not loving that so much. Next up, we've got the Sculpin fish, which are often found in the shallow waters of Newfoundland. Hello to my maritimers out there. They're poisonous, alive, or dead. While a little nick from one of this fish's many spines located along their back won't do too much damage unless a person is highly allergic to bee stings or other foreign substances, a deep wound from one of these spines will surely spell trouble. While this animal won't kill you unless of course you're allergic, or if it punctures your chest or abdomen, it will cause you extreme pain, tingling, and numbness that can last for weeks. Its poison contains cardiac glycosides that can also really damage your heart in the long run, leading a person to live with a higher risk of death due to heart complications. If you ever find yourself fishing in the Maritimes, might I suggest gloves. Next up, we have a Polychaete worm, a marine worm that will surely make an appearance in at least one of your guys' nightmares this evening. While they are not deadly, their appearance is disturbing, but luckily they're generally quite small, measuring in at under 10 centimeters, 4 inches. On the flip side, however, they can grow to be 3 meters, which is like 10 feet, so it's a no from me. Like basically they're either large enough to eat you or small enough to get lost in your bathing suit. It sounds horrific and I want no part in it. They are also found at an incredibly wide range of depths, from the shallow rocky shores all the way down to the abyss. Oh, and they can also bite and sting with detachable spines located along their bodies. The pain is not excruciating, but it's unpleasant, and the spines are not easy to remove. Next up, we have the discovery of an ancient computer. In 1917, while exploring the coast of the Greek island Antikythera, an incredible discovery was made. A 2,000-year-old artifact was discovered that soon came to be known as the Antikythera mechanism, an ancient Greek device used to predict the relative positions of the planets and moons in order to pinpoint important astrological events such as solar and lunar eclipses. And the device dates all the way back to 100 BC. This artifact, which many have referred to as the very first analog computer, was found on a shipwreck alongside intact human remains, two rare ocean discoveries considering the importance of the artifact and the intact nature of a 2,000-year-old skeleton, which should have, at this point, either completely decomposed or have been carried away by scavengers. I don't know what's going on here, but it's pretty cool. And finally, we've got holes. Mystery holes found on the Atlantic seabed that have caused scientists to say, what? In 2022, while exploring the mid-Atlantic ridge, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration discovered holes in the ridge while using a remote-operated vehicle to explore and map out the area. What had originally been an unmanned expedition to learn more about fracture rift zones and the water column quickly turned into a mystery when the organization discovered a line of small holes with little piles of sediment surrounding them, making them appear as though they had been dug by something. While the holes had been seen in the area previously, seeing them again proved to researchers that their existence was more than just coincidental, but their origin remains a mystery. So who knows, maybe we'll get a more in-depth video on them later should they turn out to be some kind of alien species.
Number 10. The Wolverine fish. Hugh Jackman, if you're watching this, I love you. Also, this one's for you, pal. Let's do it. This year alone, there have been over 200 discoveries of freshwater fish. 200 more reasons why I'm not swimming in fresh water. Here we go. One of which is the X-Men inspired fish, the Hoplioncistrus Wolverine. Yeah, these fish have strong lateral curved spikes called odontodes tucked under their gills, and they can extend and jab their prey with these prongs, these 3 prongs, hence the name Wolverine fish. It's kind of cute, I don't know. I like the claws, which is terrifying for sure, but they're tiny claws, right? Just swimming around, Julius Caesaring people in the water. Number 9, the frilled shark. Okay, back in 2004, marine biologists discovered this dinosaur, I guess, the frilled shark. Let's talk about him. Lurking about 870 meters below the surface, this guy looks like an eel at first, you know, and then you get closer and it's not, it's even scarier. Frilled sharks can grow up to 7 feet long, which is like, you know, a foot taller than this lanky shark here, and they can fight like Daredevil. They can hunt in complete darkness. They don't need to see anything to mess you up. Unless you're skinny dipping, you don't need to worry about the frilled shark. He's not really buzzing around anywhere, thankfully. Frilled sharks are only found a mile below the surface. Have you ever dealt with one of these? Are you a diver? Have you seen a shark in person? I saw a shark once, but it was a nurse shark. Also, it was one of those like aquarium things where like you can like go in. I don't know. I was terrified. Number 8, the walking worm. Nice. I had the same nickname in high school. Let's talk about them. Meet the Hallucigenia fortis, named by Simon Conway Morris in 1979. Now, Conway Morris named it Hallucigenia fortis because of its bizarre and dreamlike quality. Isn't that dreamlike and nice and lovely? No, it's more bizarre. There were over 109 specimens of these strange aquatic creatures found, and they range in size from ½ centimeter to 3 centimeters long. Not too large, but still terrifying nonetheless. And since it was an invertebrate, it lacked a spine. Also, just like me, I'm like Gumby, you know, this, I don't know what this is. Oh, hear that crack? Defining features of the walking worm, as its name suggests, were these tentacles that protruded out from the body, which it would use to walk around. It had spikes that it maybe walked on. How terrifying is that? In 2015, scientists realized where its real head was. Yeah, we thought a fossilized stain was its head for like 35 years, and then in 2015 we found its real head. And it looks like it's grinning, and it has 2 eyes, so dare I say worse than the stain observation. Number 7, the ruling squid. For ages now, sailors from Norway and Greenland have shared tales of a giant sea monster. Now, with tentacles big enough to pluck you out of your boat. Doesn't this sound a little familiar? In 1857, Danish naturalist Johannes Steenstrup found a large squid beak, and soon after, he was sent parts of another specimen from the Bahamas. So he got all these gross fishy parts, just a nice stinky table of work, and then he thought to himself, could this be the kraken? These parts were a part of a species called a giant squid. It's called Architeuthis dux, yeah, which translates to ruling squid in Latin, which is terrifying. The ruling squid. Okay, you got it. You rule the ocean, therefore I'm not going in it. Very little is known about giant ruling squid, of course, because they're so hard to track down, but we did get a photo of one back in 2005 and a video of one in 2013. Both are equally as terrifying. Check them out. Eyewitness reports from sailors also describe a 60-foot squid, so those reports don't sound as crazy after you see this, right? That's also totally an alien, like 1000%. We can just nip that in the bud. Number 6, magnificent alien. While the rest of the world was in panic mode, a new sea sponge was discovered in 2020. How fun and cute is that? Again, we're gonna poke around and touch him and then it's gonna go extinct, so enjoy him while it lasts. He was named Adviena magnifica, which translates to magnificent alien. The sponge literally gets its name because it looks like ET. How amazing is that? And to be fair, it does look like ET. An ROV found this sample over 6,000 feet deep in the Pacific Ocean. They found it in what they call a forest of weird, which is an excellent nickname given what has emerged from it. Just an alien sponge sticking their ET head out for some food. That's all we're looking at here. Christiana Costello Branco, the researcher who found this deep sea squishy, explains the discovery in an NOAA interview, saying that as all of these organisms are intricately connected, by documenting and describing marine biodiversity, we are building a better understanding of life and the impact of humans on Earth. In this case, in the ocean. End quote. Yeah, this sounds like some Martian type stuff. I don't know how I feel about that. It's like, hey, we have no idea what's down below. Shall we continue searching? I'm like, no, we shouldn't. We should stop searching. This little guy is the key to humanity's survival. I feel it. I don't know. He's calling me. Number 5, the rare whalefish. Located in California's Monterey Bay, scientists were able to get a close look at the fish with no eyes. Yeah, so we probably had no idea any of this was happening. Everyone's like, also, it's pretty unfair just to film him without his consent. He has no idea. This little guy relies on his other senses to hunt, obviously, and pick up its surroundings. This footage was from over 6,000 feet deep, so the lack of light just decided that the whalefish doesn't need eyes. Yeah, nature and history was like, you know what? Well, you don't need them, so we're just gonna take those back. It's like, what? Give them the choice, just in case. Let them look at a movie or a cool coral. It's great to get footage of them because whalefish are rarely recorded in the deep, let alone recorded alive. Number 4, the smooth-hand fish. Not to be confused with Cool Hand Luke, although that's also a pretty good time. The smooth-hand fish was the first time in modern history where a marine-type fish has gone extinct. Yeah, this fish was a shallow water bottom dweller, and I personally love him because he looks like a Bowser minion. Except I don't want to stomp on his head like Mario does, you know? I just want to keep him. He looks like he's in a bad mood all the time. I don't know, he looks like something's on his mind. He has a horn that protrudes out of his face, so I don't blame him, to be honest. Just 200 years ago, you would have seen these smooth dudes in the land down under in Australia. It lived in Tasmania's warm waters, and what made this fish so unique, as its name hints towards, is its little smooth hands. The smooth-hand fish would seemingly walk with those hands along the ocean floor, using its fins as hands. So an angry-looking fish with hands and a horn would walk towards you. hard pass, never swimming again. Graham Edgar, marine ecologist at the University of Tasmania, sheds some light on its habits, explaining that these fish were homebodies. They didn't have a large habitat. They spent most of their time sitting in the seabed with an occasional flap just for a few meters if they're disturbed. And at that point, they would just walk away with their hands from the drama, but because humans got involved, we don't see these guys as much anymore. Number 3, Chinese paddlefish. The Chinese paddlefish was one of the largest primary freshwater fish in the world, commonly measuring around 3 meters or, 10 feet long. These fish were native to the Yangtze and Yellow River basins in China. It was one of just 2 of the paddlefish family. Now, since the 1990s, this fish has been listed on the critically endangered list, with the 2 main culprits, of course, being us humans, overfishing, and habitat fragmentation. Now, unfortunately, in December 2019, because of several surveys that failed to locate any presence of these species, it has since been declared extinct. Yeah, there's a little bit of hope that I'll leave, but so far we can't find any of these. I hope somewhere there's a colony of these little paddlefish hiding somewhere and we just can't find them, Keep hiding, don't let us find you. We'll just fuck it up again, don't let us reel you in or catch you. Sadly, it's believed that this fish went extinct somewhere between 2005 and 2010, but he's pretty cool looking, so we'll always remember him. Number 2, the snapping shrimp. Okay, this is terrifying. These things are tiny and yeah, never again. This little guy can literally create a sonic boom as it attacks you. That's how fast it is underwater. You will not see it coming, and neither did this explorer. Here's a clip of a mantis shrimp punching through a diver's swimming gear. Yeah, right through their water shoes. Just like that, easy.
Ow, that really hurt.
Isn't that insane? They're often found in coral reefs, oyster reefs, and these little guys, these pistol shrimp, they hit their prey at 100 kilometers an hour, and in doing so, a large air bubble is created, and because this Mike Tyson shrimp is so quick with the jab, the following pop is around 200 decibels. So the sound alone from the attack stuns their prey. Or if they're lucky, it'll sometimes just kill them, which is honestly how I'd want to go. I wouldn't want to get punched by one of these things. Imagine one of these the same size as you. That's literally Mike Tyson, actually, now that I think about it. And finally, number 1, the electric eel. Great song, not a great animal. You don't want to poke around these guys. Awesome, that's the worst thing I've ever seen. Let's talk about them. The moray eel. First of all, don't do that. Don't go up to a random eel and start rubbing it like it's a genie lamp. That's not ideal. That was the moray eel. That one can bite your fingers off. But you should never touch an eel in the first place because a lot of them, and I mean a lot of them, are electric. Yeah, as its name suggests, these type of eels can mess you up even if you were to get the first hit, even if you bopped it yourself. Specifically, the newly discovered 2.5 meter Electrophorus volti, appropriately named after Alessandro Volta, aka the guy who invented the battery. Yeah, it's named after the guy who invented the battery. This is an animal swimming around underneath us. It can release a shock of up to 860 volts. That's more than 7 times the voltage of a wall plug. Things powering all of these units. A swimming wall plug that gets hungry. Sick. We love nature. Isn't nature lovely? Awesome.
Starting off this list like we always do, and at number 10 we have the snakehead. This type of predator fish is native to parts of Africa and Asia. However, biologists have spotted this type of fish in North America, and if they continue to reproduce and survive, they will wreak havoc on our native ecosystem. A species of fish can reach a length of 3 feet or 1 meter, and they mostly prey on invertebrates, frogs, and smaller fish, and they're known to attack anything moving while they are breeding. Snakeheads can survive out of the water for up to 4 days, and they're mainly noted for their aggressive behavior. Moving into number 9 on this list, we're talking about the giant freshwater stingray. These stingrays can reach up to an epic proportion of up to 16.5 feet long and up to 1,300 pounds. They are known to inhabit rivers in the Southeast Asia and Northern Australia, so you guys better be careful out there. They are very hard to see. They bury themselves in the river sediments to blend in with their surroundings. Although they rarely attack humans, there are some reports of giant animals tipping over boats. The freshwater stingray have a barbed at the base of their tail that contains a deadly poison and a stinger as long as 15 inches. Diving bell spider brings us to number 8. This is one of the few species of spider that is known to live almost entirely underwater, which makes them even more creepier. It provides its own supply by forming bubbles, which the spider holds by hairs on its legs and abdomen. These spiders have the potential to inflict a a painful bite that is often accompanied by feverish symptoms. I think that a spider can live underwater is scary enough. Number 7 brings us to a tigerfish. Yes, this is a thing. These species of fish is found all over Africa, and they're fierce predators with large razor-sharp teeth. They like to hunt in packs and occasionally eat large animals. Although attacks on humans are rare, they still happen occasionally. They are considered to be Africa's equivalent of the South America's piranha, and that's because tigerfish also have interlocking razor-sharp teeth with muscular bodies, and they're known to be extremely aggressive. It has been confirmed that they can attack and catch birds that are flying over the water. Coming into number 6 is a fanged vampire fish. The name alone is enough to keep you out of the water. This is a predator fish that is found in the Amazon basin. Its most noticeable feature is the 2 long fangs that protrude from its lower jaw, where these fangs can be as long as 4 to 6 inches. They mainly consume smaller fish when they use their long, sharp fangs to impale the fish, and then they consume them. Wow, I wouldn't want to ever encounter that fanged vampire fish. Electric eels zaps its way to number 5. Despite their name, electric eels are actually a type of knife fish, and they're more closely related to catfish than they are to a true eels. These gross looking fish inhabit the waters in the Amazon and Orinoco basins and South America, which they hunt prey and defend themselves by producing powerful bursts of electricity. They are capable of producing waves of electricity greater than 500 volts, with a current greater than 1 amp. What does that mean? Well, it's strong enough to kill an adult human. Luckily for us, they mostly hunt invertebrates, but they will attack humans if disturbed or provoked. Nile crocodile comes its way onto this list at number 4. This crocodile is found in Africa, and it is often considered to be the second largest living reptile in the world after the saltwater crocodile. On average, an adult male can grow anywhere between 11 foot 6 inches all the way up to 16 foot 5 inches, and they can weigh 5 to 1,600 pounds. That is insane. The Nile crocodile is an ambush predator that waits for hours, days, and even weeks in order to make their attack. They have an extremely powerful bite and grip that is almost impossible to loosen. Their teeth are not used to tear up flesh, they instead are used to sink deep inside the prey, so that way they cannot escape and they'll eventually die. Goonch fish makes its way onto this list at number 3. This fish is scary looking 300-pound river monster from the catfish family that has acquired a strong taste for human flesh. There was a series of documented cases of fatal attacks that occurred in the Cali River that occurred because of this man-eating fish. Victims are dragged to their death by this predator before being consumed. There was a 17-year-old boy who was dragged underwater by the fish and his body was never found. It is believed that this species of fish acquired a taste for humans because of an old funeral practice of throwing corpses into the river where this fish would feed on the dead corpse. Slithering its way into number 2, we have the anaconda. The name anaconda used to apply to a group of snakes that constrict. Now the name is often used to refer to one species called the common or green anaconda. This extremely large snake is found in the tropical South America, and it's the largest snake in the world by weight, and it's the second longest, reaching lengths up to 17 feet. They mostly feed on fish, birds, reptiles, small mammals, and they can also be very dangerous to people. They are non-venomous, so they kill their prey by constricting it and then they swallow their prey whole. Chopping its way into number 1, we have the piranhas. It's no secret that the piranhas, they don't have the best reputation. Movies often portray them as being aggressive or ruthless predators. They are feared by many, and that's because piranhas have razor sharp teeth and a relentless bite. A species of piranha actually has a bite with a maximum force of 72 pounds. I mean, ouch. They inhabit South America's rivers in Venezuela, and every year hundreds of piranhas are reported in South America. Probably one of the most frightening reports was back in 2011 when a series of attacks left 100 people injured.
Coming in at number 10, we have the devil lamb. In South Africa, inhabitants of a village were shocked and disturbed by the birth of a human-looking lamb. Villagers were convinced that either bestiality or witchcraft were at play when the human-looking lamb was birthed, although sadly the creature was stillborn. While DNA samples confirmed that the creature was indeed a lamb, many locals were convinced that the dead sheep was the work of the devil or a bad omen of things to come. Check out this goat at number 9. In April 2016, a kid was born that looked like an actual human kid. A farmer from Felda in Malaysia posted the image of an animal on social media. Unfortunately, the baby goat didn't live very long, but it did indeed look like a hairy bipedal mammal. Some were saying that the goat looked human, but to be honest, I think it looks more like a baby Chewbacca. It definitely has human-like lips and a nose, but I don't know, I'm just sad that this little guy didn't make it. Coming in at number 8, we have this cow. A cow born in India with human features caused a stir in 2017. Cows are seen as sacred in India, so when a calf was born with human-like features, people thought that it was an avatar of the Hindu god Vishnu. Locals flocked to see the calf, which died shortly after birth. Despite being dead, Hindus placed the animal in a glass box and laid it with floral garlands. One worshipper said that God has taken birth in the body of a local cow, which I personally think is a bit extreme. He said that a lot of people were there to worship the cow and seek his blessings. We have another goat at number 7. This one was born in Argentina. A genetic disorder meant that the kid was born with a facial deformity. The farmer who owned the animal presented it to cameras and video footage was uploaded to YouTube. Okay, look at this dog at number 6. Like, really look at it. Look at it in the eye. Are you guys creeped out? Because I am. Tonic, the poodle shih tzu mix, has a very human looking demeanor about him. Like, he looks like he knows things. Pictures of the pooch went viral in 2013 as his shelter photos were listed on Pet Finder. He's definitely very cute, but when I look at him, I feel like he knows more than he should. Like, who was this dog in a former life? Okay, so this is animals born with human faces, but this animal looks like it was very much born with specifically human teeth. We have the Prometheus succulus at number 5. This squid looks like an angry killer ready to bite, like Who knew these critters were living down there screaming silently into the ocean? While it looks like this squid has a human set of teeth, these are actually folded lip flaps. Gross. This squid might be confused if it saw us too, but it's unlikely that we will ever come face to face with it because it lives so far down in the ocean. Coming into number 4, we have this cat with a human face. Although I say human face, it actually kind of looks like a semi-human werewolf. Bizarre images of a cat with a human-like face were circulated on the internet in October 2014. People were claiming it was taken in Western Malaysia. Footage of the creature was also recorded on a phone camera. The creature kind of looks like a cross between a cat and Gollum from Lord of the Rings. It was on all fours and it had fangs, but like kind of a very human-like face. The image caused so much fuss that local police in Malaysia were forced to make a statement saying that the creature was fake. Although, was it actually? Meet this pig at number 3. Now this story actually comes from our sister news channel Inform Overload. Back in 2014, Dave Warple reported that a pig had been born with a human-looking face in Vietnam. First reported on Tomo News, the animal appears to be a pig with a decidedly humanoid appearance, but people in Laos, where it was born, speculated it was the work of bestiality. Which, I mean, that just isn't how things work. To be fair though, I don't really know how anything works, and I'm ready to question anything I ever thought was true here at number 2. We have this pig with a human face and a human-looking penis on its head. This piglet was videoed gasping for air and was widely shared on Chinese social media. The piglet was the only one of the litter of 19 to have such an unusual deformity. It seemed like it had a human face with the addition of what looked like a flaccid penis on its head, which is extremely unfortunate. Eyewitness Wu Kung was one of a dozen people who went to see the piglet, and he said that it actually really did look like it had a penis growing out of its forehead. There it is. I can't not look at it. Finally, at number 1, a weird but very cute and happy story, we have this lamb that looks like an old man. In 2015, a female lamb went viral when she was born in a Russian village. Sheep are born in Russia all the time, so what was the big deal? Well, this lamb looked like a grumpy old human man. The Russian farmer the lamb belongs to said that she had normal looking parents, it must have just been a deformity. Residents of the town flocked to see the sheep, although it is said that the lamb scared the children. The farmer said that he thought that she was a beauty and refused to sell her to the local circus, and like, isn't that love?
10 with the giant shrimp. Imagine swimming in the water with this. This 18-inch shrimp was caught off the coast of Florida, and experts believe that it is the infamous mantis shrimp with that powerful claws that are capable of breaking aquarium glass. Apparently their claws can move at speeds of 50 miles an hour. Swimming up this list, in at number 9 we have Wels catfish. These fish are known to inhabit the Berlin Lake, Spain's reservoirs, and Russia's Volga River. The Wels catfish is a huge slithering creature that can reach over 13 feet in length and weighs over 400 pounds. They're aggressive predators and they capture victims with their massive razor sharp teeth. Now on this list at number 8 is the frilled shark. This 6-foot sea monster with 300 teeth was caught in Australia. This is an extremely rare species and it is referred to as the living fossil because it has ancestors dating back 80 million years ago. The frilled shark is pretty horrific looking and I don't know what to do if I caught this thing. Like, if I catch it, I'm just not going to reel it up in the boat. I think it's time to call it a loss and just have your fishing rod just fall in the water and call it a day. Alligator gar makes its way into number 7. This species is like a hybrid of like an alligator, a fish, and a freaking dinosaur. The alligator gar is the largest freshwater fish in America and it has 2 rows of razor sharp teeth. This particular alligator gar measures 8 feet 5 inches long, weighing in at 327 pounds. This fisherman used nets to catch the fish and then proceeded to grab it by the gills and then it pulled it into the boat. Me, I would pull it out of the boat and just try to motor it away. I don't know. I would catch half of these things these people were catching. If I saw that in my net, I would like scream like a girl and then cry and then I don't know, I would just be freaking out. I mean, these things should not be in the water. Number 6 brings us to the wolffish. A Japanese fisherman reeled this hideous looking beast near the coast of Russia. This fish has been identified as one of the largest wolffish ever recorded. The head of this fish makes up a fifth of their body and the mouth is large enough to fit a child inside. Not that this fish eats children, but I thought I'd throw that one in there. Thankfully though, the wolffish only eats crabs and mollusks. Megamouth shark makes its way into number 5. This one doesn't sound good. Some fishermen in Japan got a really big surprise when they caught this frightening megamouth shark. Now this is an extremely rare creature weighing in around 1 ton and measuring at 5 meters in length. There are less than 60 confirmed sightings since the megamouth shark was discovered in 1976. Apparently they swim with their mouth open, so I definitely wouldn't want to encounter one of these sharks in case they accidentally just swallow me while they're swimming. Terrorizing its way into number 4 is the sawfish. This endangered sawfish was captured off the Gulf Coast of Florida and it was reeled into the shore because it was too large for the fishermen to reel it in. This species can grow up to 18 feet long and it weighs a staggering 700 pounds. I mean, damn. I don't think I'd want to swim anywhere near this thing or anywhere near any of these creatures on this list. Next up, at number 3, we're talking about the goblin shark, another freaking shark. Some fishermen in the Gulf of Mexico caught the incredible rare goblin shark. I'm not sure why people are going out fishing and they're catching sharks. This 18-foot long pink predator was captured in a shrimp net and the fisherman was absolutely shocked when they saw this prehistoric looking shark. Apparently this creepy creature uses electrical sensors on its snout to, find prey when it cannot hear or see it. So it's almost like echolocation. Luckily though, the goblin shark normally dwells in the deepest parts of the ocean. So I guess there's not much to fear, but that's it's mostly down there. But sometimes, yeah, it could be in the surface, who knows. Goliath tigerfish makes its way into this list at number 2. This species is infamously known as being one of the most dangerous freshwater fish in the world. The Goliath tigerfish can be found in Lake Tanganyika and the Congo River in Africa. Well, for one fisherman, he was able to catch the 100-pound Goliath tigerfish by using a catfish as bait. I mean, what? And also the fisherman had to use a 200-pound rod and line. This ferocious fish has 32 razor-sharp teeth and has been known for attacking humans and even crocodiles. Finally, at number 1, we have the Goonch fish. I don't know, every time I say this word, it just makes me laugh. It sounds like something inappropriate. This 161-pound Goonch catfish was caught in the river in northern India. This gigantic sized fish measured in at 5 feet 7 inches from head to tail and 41 inches around. Apparently this species of catfish has been known to fatally attack humans and they are considered to be a man-eating animal.